Hi, this is Coach Shawnee Lavender, the Conscious Moms Coach, and it is my pleasure to be here with you today talking about a topic that is germane to every parent's life, and that is the topic of cooperation and working together, specifically being able to support our children in playing their role in the family, whether that is doing things to contribute to the household, chores or other things that they do, simply cleaning up their room or helping set the table, whatever those things look like in your family. It also includes things like getting ready for bed, brushing teeth, doing homework, um, those kind of things, getting out the door in the morning, listening to our guidance in terms of when we say things like maybe there's a boundary. So we'll say, we touch your brother gently, getting them to cooperate and do as we've asked with those kind of things. So again, you can see it's a topic that we are all dealing with on a daily basis and many times throughout the day. So today what I want to share are a couple of keys to cooperation without coercion, so that family life can really run smoothly and that everyone can be respected and be treated in a way that is loving and gentle. So that's what I'm going to be talking about. So I'm going to make a little adjustment there. And I also have a really special, very limited time offer that I'm going to be telling you about. There's a link, or let me check and see. There should be a link. Maybe there's not. I will see if I can address that. I will ask myself to put that in the comments so you can find that afterwards. But I also will be telling you what it is, so you can do it as you watch. You can type it as you watch. But let me talk about these ideas that I wanted to share today about cooperation. So here's what I know from the parents that I work with, which includes right now, I think, parents in about 8 different countries. Last night I was thinking, okay, where's everybody from? So that's really exciting. People I've worked with in the past and people I'm working with currently. So that's really exciting. So it's something that is applicable to parents all around the world. It's not American parents. It's not just moms. It's not parents of a certain age. It is parents of a certain disposition. So those of you that are out there listening to this now or listening to it on my YouTube channel, I definitely, as I said, I'm the Conscious Moms Coach. I do work with dads. However, the conscious piece is as an essential element. So there are definitely parents out there who do things very much with coercion and don't have a problem with using rewards and punishments. And although that's not what I'd hope they do, that's fine. That's what they choose to do. So the parents, though, that I work with are those who are really striving to parent in a way that would be the way they would have wanted to have been parented. It's the way they are parenting and striving to parent in a way that is the way they want to be treated back. So it's really golden rule parenting, if you will. I've never called it that before, but that's really what it is. It's those kind of parents, and parents who are aware enough to know when they're not actually doing that. Because a lot of parents, frankly, and this isn't a judgment, simply an observation, a lot of parents don't realize when they're doing that. They don't think, saying something to their child like, well, you should know better, is a problem. However, if you want to build a certain type of relationship with your child, that is a problem. So, so I digress a little bit, but just for those of you, if this is your first time experiencing me, to give you a little bit of sense of who I am and what I'm about. So, back to cooperation. What I notice is that in general, one of the things that happens is parents have some really old-fangled ideas about cooperation. And so when we operate under those ideas, it is much more likely for us as the parent to end up using some kind of force to get our children to comply. So let me explain a little bit about that old-fangled thinking. So what you'll hear, and you may have even said this yourself, so nothing wrong with it. It's in us because it's the mindset with which we were raised, and it's still the predominant cultural mindset of, I would say, most of our planet, is that when children don't cooperate, they are stubborn, they are obstinate, they are strong-willed. Those kind of judgmental ideas about children. So it's that idea that, oh, when they don't cooperate, they're the problem, and there's something fundamentally up with them that they are not doing as they should do. So, and we all go there. I go there. I'm a human being, even though I teach this work to others, and it's something I've worked on for many years. It still comes up in me. So that idea that cooperation, when we come from this old-fangled perspective of children who aren't cooperating are being bad in some way, then it is going to make us very likely to, in our working with them, not really working with them, but in our then attempting to get them to cooperate, we are much more likely to use force and use some kind of force. I'm going to talk about that next. So when we use force, which I would describe as including verbal threats and threats, not like I'm going to break your leg or any, it's not those kind of threats. We're not the mafia. Our kids may sometimes think we are, but it's not those kinds of threats. It's, if you don't do this, then you're not going to get that. Those kind of threats of, if you don't do as I want you to do, you're going to be punished in this way, or have this thing taken away from you, this privilege. So force includes those kind of threats. It also includes shaming. So that can be really subtle. As I said in a really popular video of mine about ways we unknowingly shame our children, you can even say your child's name with a shaming attitude and energy behind it. You can say, Jonathan. It's not just like, hey, stop that thing. It's sort of like, ew, what are you doing? Oh, okay, well, am I doing something wrong? So that is another form of force that we get into. So those that verbal threats, shaming, those are some versions of force. Any other kinds of coercion, forcing our child into a car seat. And I've done that. Most of us have. If you ever use a car and you have a young child, there might have been times where you really had to go someplace, doctor's appointment or work or wherever, or it was like, no, this is the time to go and you got to get in it. So we go there. Again, though, the intention for the parents I work with is to not go there. So when we do those things too often, when we use force, it's not power, by the way. I have a whole program about the difference. One of the things that it discusses is the difference between power and force. None of those are powerful. Those are actually really weak actions that we resort to for lots of reasons that I talk about more in a program I'm going to tell you about at the end of the video, or towards the end of the video. But when we rely on force too often, then we are going to be eroding the trust and connection that we have with our child or our children. So it is, yes, we are still going to use it, most likely, because we're human beings and we go unconscious sometimes. And again, we're evolving all the time. So we are not always going to be at our best. So we are going to use that. If we use it too much, then that connection and that trust that we have with our children is going to get eroded. And if we do it too frequently, too much of too much, then we are going to really damage our relationship with our children. And the behavior the cooperative behavior that we're wanting to foster is going to get even harder to create, because we don't have that bond anymore as it gets eroded. So the other thing, so that's a longer term issue. However, the other short-term issue that I see is that most parents, again, when we realize that we've done these things, when we have used some kind of force with our child, verbal or otherwise, our hearts hurt. That's not how we want to parent. And so we suffer the effects of guilt and shame that are not healthy for us physically or physiologically, also mentally and emotionally. So it's not just doing this because it's better for your child, it's better for you and it's better for your relationship. So there's no reason really not to strive to create cooperation without coercion. There's absolutely no reason uh, not to strive for that. So those are a couple of the keys that we want to have that mindset shift around what really does cause the breaks in the cooperative spirit, what prompts our children to not want to cooperate with us, what are we doing, what's happening on their side. Um, so we want to have that mindset shift so we aren't bringing an energy of adversity to our interactions with our child when they aren't cooperating. And of course, we want to do things that also foster the cooperation in the first place so that we don't have so many of those times come up where they aren't wanting to cooperate or communicate, but cooperate. And this program that I want to tell you about is called the Cooperative Home, and it is a combination of education and coaching program. So what that means is that, from my perspective, there are many parents out there who read books, who read websites, who maybe study with other parent coaches or authors. And so they are intaking information. So that's great. However, what I see with many of those parents is there is a knowing doing gap, is what I call it. So they may know what to do, but then when it comes time to do it, they have a challenging time doing it on a consistent basis. And so the knowing is important. You need that information. You need some new awareness, new ideas, and understandings and shifts. And you need that support if you want to have these results be sustainable. You need that support to practice, to see the things that you don't see more clearly. And that's one of the things that I provide for the people I work with, is that objective perspective on their subjective reality. So I can see things that they don't. It's in their blind spot, just like when you're driving, you have that blind spot. So that coaching component is then what allows them to get problem solving, to get support, both from me and other parents in the program. And right now, I know we've got parents in the program specifically from 3 different countries, including some dads. Yay, dads! I'm very excited because most of the work I've done is predominantly with moms, and I love dads though, so yay. Anyway, you can see I'm so excited. It's so fun to be with people in this way who are really wanting to create something different. So it's a combination of education and coaching together. That's what makes it a combination, right? So that you get all the pieces you need to really make those shifts and then implement them and have mastery over them. So by the end of the program, you really are resourced in a new way and trained. It's almost like going to driver's ed, but you really come out of it. You might still be a little nervous, like when you first learned to drive, right? However, you come out of it with confidence, knowledge, and practice so that you really know, okay, what do I do? What's going on here? I can be more effective in figuring things out ahead of time. I can avoid problems before they come up. I can set things up in certain ways. So it's a really wonderful program in that way. And let me briefly tell you the specifics of what it includes, and then I'm going to go over and check and see if there are any questions or comments on Facebook. So it's a 2-month program, and specifically there are going to be 8 weekly lessons that are delivered in a combination of video, audio, and downloadable PDFs. And those PDFs are both educational in terms of material for you to read and look through. They also, though, include worksheets and exercises, because again, I don't want you to just read and go, oh, that was great, or not great, whatever, but I don't want you to just ingest information. I want you to implement, because that's where you're going to gain the mastery. And these new ways are going to become more natural and secondhand for you, rather than every time under stress you have to reach back into the recesses of your brain and try and pull it out of some dusty drawer that's stuck in your brain. I don't want that. I want you to be like, oh, boom, I got the idea. I know what to do. So you get 8 weeks of those weekly lessons. You get my support and you get peer support in a private Facebook group. And I say peer support, so it's not just any parents. Now, it doesn't mean that everybody's going to believe exactly what you believe. They may still have some of their own philosophies. However, these are people from my community, the Conscious Mom Circle, from my email list, and from events that I've done. So these are people who resonate with what I share. And so if you resonate with what I share, they do as well. So you can be assured that there aren't people in the group who are saying, well, I really think spanking is a good idea, or I really don't have a problem with shaming. It's not saying that they aren't ever going to say, I have spanked or I have shamed. You know, we're humans and we're growing and evolving. So, but you can know that they're going to be people who are like-minded and like-hearted, which I think is a really important piece, because you are going to be sharing, here's what's up for me. I'd love to have some ideas. Do any of you run into this? So you want to have that community where you feel safe and secure and aligned. You have the sense of belonging, that these are your people. So they're your peeps. They're me, and other peeps of yours are going to be in this private Facebook group. You also will get a one-on-one coaching session with me during the program. And we'll do that via technology. Like I said, there's people in other countries, so we have to use technology to connect, and you get to do that too. There'll also be regular add-on discussions, exercises, problem-solving presentations in the Facebook group. So as I do these Facebook Lives in Facebook land for the wide world, I also, in the Cooperative Home, there will be presentations like this, and me coming in and doing Facebook Lives specifically around cooperation, around questions that you parents have been asking, around things that we're seeing coming up. So there's more than simply the prescribed things that I already have set up. It definitely is something that I personalize based on the group of people involved, because I want you to, again, come out of the program going, yay, I'm ready, let's go. So let me cover a few of the topics that we'll touch on. This is not an exhaustive list. In fact, if you want to see an exhaustive list, there's too many points, my husband said, but I didn't get around to editing them down. So don't get inundated by it. Just know everything is there. You can go, for that information, you can go to my website, ShawneeLavender.com/COOPHOME-WL. So that stands for, ShawneeLavender.com, and that's LAVENDER. I should probably spell Shawnee too. SHONNIE, although you guys can see that above, I guess. ShawneeLavender.com/ and then it's short for Cooperative Home. So it's co-op, COOP, home, HOME, all one word, -WL, which stood for waitlist. So there's no waiting list, though. The doors are wide open, and I do have some spaces left. So a few of the things that we are going to cover and touch on. We are going to master, or you will get to master with my support, the 3 primary means of fostering cooperation in a way that still honors your child's autonomy and their spirit. Okay? So it's a totally different way than most of us were raised, because our parents didn't have this information. We know a lot more about human beings now. You will learn how to shift your own attitude and keep your cool when your child isn't cooperating, because that's almost something I hear on a daily basis from parents is, that, gee, this thing happened and, oh, crap, I reacted in a way that I don't want to do. So you're going to get that support to change those habits that you have that exacerbate the situation and make it worse. You're going to learn what to use instead of consequences to get your child on board with your agenda. So even if you sort of think, well, I'm used to natural consequences, whatever. I'm not judging that. I'm saying this program will give you more ways of helping your child come onto your team willingly and excitedly, even without relying on consequences, natural or otherwise. And another thing we're going to do, there's much more than this, but again, the last one I'm going to share right now is you're going to learn about using humor, play, and lightness to make daily routines easier for everyone. And I'm going to say a little bit of an aside about this one. This came up for me. This is new. The core of the Cooperative Home program I have as a self-study e-course. However, I developed those materials before I started taking improv classes. And what I experienced from taking improv classes is that by incorporating what I learned there into my parenting, I have been able to much more easily, much more readily, and much more enjoyably for me and my daughter, been able to support her in finding her yes to my requests. So that is something I think for all of us, it's like, yeah, you can use the standard techniques, boring, and not always as effective. So you're going to get to learn how to use humor, play, and lightness to foster cooperation. And even if those don't come naturally to you, like you're thinking, well, I'm not a funny, I don't want to do comedy. It's not that at all. It's using some of those skills and sensibilities of improvisation to be able to open up your creativity, your flexibility, your adaptability, your resourcefulness, because you're going to need that. Absolutely. If you were dealing with a robot as a child, you wouldn't need it. But since I don't think anybody out there is dealing with robot children yet, you are dealing with a human being. And so that lightness is going to be, especially with young children, any children certainly under 7, but even teenagers, they still like things that are funny. They may roll their eyes or pretend they don't think it's funny, right? But they still like humor, okay? So a few benefits that you can anticipate if you decide to participate in the cooperative home. One of the things is you can anticipate your children cooperating without needing to be nagged, bribed, yelled at, or otherwise forced or coerced to do as you've asked them to do. You can experience and anticipate experiencing feeling more creative and confident in your abilities to lovingly meet your children's resistance with compassion. It doesn't mean you're a doormat. It's not that. It's that you can be with them when they do say no, because they will, no matter what. This is not eliminating no from your child's vocabulary because they're human beings and we don't want them actually to not say no. I have another video about why. But when they do resist, which they will, instead of reacting and yelling and doing those things that later on you feel horrendous about, you can meet their resistance with compassion. Okay, so that's one of my favorite things that parents come out of this with, because it feels better for them and it feels better for their kids. Yay, double win. The third thing you can anticipate is that your children's spirit and drive for autonomy, which is what they're working through as they grow, right? That's what they're going for, that to be an autonomous human being, that is going to be honored without sacrificing your own needs and boundaries. So some parents think, oh, well, permissive, and so I have to just always give up. No, that's not what this is about. You have no's. You have, no, that doesn't work for me. You have boundaries. Those all still are honored, and your child is honored. So it's that learning how to hold both. It's a both and rather than an either or, which is where most of us parents get into. At least sometimes we get into either or, and both and is possible. And that's one of the things you can anticipate. The final thing, and there's more, but this is one of the things I wanted to leave with you today, is you can anticipate your children developing a healthy independence and confidence. And for me, and I think for many of you, that's a really important piece, because it's not just, okay, right now while they're 2 or they're 4 or they're 8, it's, well, what kind of person am I helping them to be when they're 15 and when they're 18 and when they're 27? You want to be able to help them have the life experiences as they go along, so that as they keep maturing, they are more and more able to step into their autonomy and confidence in being able to make good decisions for themselves and being able to be free of coercion from other people. So, that's something that I think is really rich blessing that comes out of this program is you're paving the way for that. I don't want to pave. Never mind. I don't like paving. You are nurturing that. You're sowing the seeds for that. I like that growing analogy better. So that's the program. Again, it's called the Cooperative Home. And here's the really exciting thing for you, and it works for me too, is that I am having a back to school sale on the Cooperative Home Enrollment Program right now, and it ends at September 2nd on midnight. So you want to take action now because I have filled over the half of the spots for the program, and B, September 2nd is going to come and go. So you want to take advantage of this. And here's what the offer is that you can enroll in the Cooperative Home for a payment of $27. Now, you're thinking, that's crazy. She's not giving us all this for $27. You're right. I'm not. However, I know that most of you, like me, like to budget and be able to plan. So you enroll for $27, and then you will make 3 additional payments of $90 each, and that adds up to $277 total. But again, that's over basically 3.5 months, because you'll take that first $27 enrollment fee, basically. That's today when you sign up. And then 2 weeks later, that first installment of 90 will be charged to your credit card. And then a month later, the second one, and a month later, the third one. So basically, over 3.5 months, you're going to get to pay for the program. So it's spread out. It's a very small enrollment fee today. And it's also a 25% savings on the program itself. So the normal price is $397 for the 2-month program. So you're getting it for $277, saving yourself $120 or thereabouts. My math. Oh, it's $297. See, I looked at my notes. I was like, something's not right. You are saving $100 on the program. That's why I write down math, because it's not my strong suit. Talking, easy, math, hard. So enroll today for $27. That is true. And then you'll make 3 payments of $90 each, monthly payments. That also is true. And so that is good. That offer is good through midnight on September 2nd. And basically, in a nutshell, that is education, 2 months of education and 2 months of professional coaching support for less than $5 a day. So I don't usually like to say, because that could make it sound cheap, but basically what I want you to know is it is accessible. And that's what I want for you, because I don't want anybody out there to say, I really can't do that. Look at your budget. You can find $5 a day. And if you can't, ask somebody in your family. If you really want this, say, look, I want this support. This is an investment. It's a worthwhile investment for you as a person. It's a worthwhile investment in your family. It's a worthwhile investment in the future of humanity, because when you do it differently, your children are going to learn to do it differently if and when they have children, and in their other relationships as well. So let me wrap up in just a minute. I want to give you the URL where you can go to get this fantastic deal. So it is bit.ly. So that's bit as in boy, IT. bit.ly/co-op-home25. So I'm going to spell that all again. bit.ly/COOPHOME25. The number's 25. So that's the link you can use to get the back to school special on the Cooperative Home. So it's total of $297, but it's enrollment today for just $27, and then 3 payments of $90. And that covers everything in the 2-month program. The 8 weeks of lessons, the one-on-one coaching session with me, the peer and coach support in the private Facebook group, and the additional lessons and exercises and work that I will be sharing in the Facebook group as we go along. So with that, let me pause and I'll come over to Facebook and see if there are any comments or questions. And if you're on Facebook and have a comment or question, now is a great time to post it so I can respond. I am really grateful for this time you've spent with me. And as a reminder, my name is Shawnee Lavender. I'm the Conscious Moms Coach. And to find out more about the Cooperative Home, you can visit my website, Shawnee Lavender, ShawneeLavender.com/COOPHOME-WL. And if you're ready to go ahead and spend your $27 to reserve your spot in the program and take advantage of the back to school special, that link is bit.ly/COOPHOME25. It's probably backwards for you, but 25. All right. Thanks so much. I'm the Conscious Moms Coach, and I wish you all a wonderful day. Bye-bye.